Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Wrestling with Power. Mosley here, joined as always by the incomparable Slick Vic.
How's it going, Mosley? Happy WrestleMania post-show, whatever.
Happy post-Mania. We are now officially on the road to Wrestle Arabia.
Arabia.
365 days to go. How you feeling, Slick Vic? The last time we were here on the show, we were. I don't have my sunglasses, but we were in bad shape that day.
What are you talking about, man? We were just resting the vision, the blue lights when we watch WrestleMania.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was in bad shape. I was in recovery mode all day. So apologies. We had to bring you the Blues Brothers on the last episode, but that was the only way to do it.
I think we look pretty good in shades.
Oh, we look great. And we even got it carried over into our episode art, which was fantastic.
Good job, Brad Buffer.
Brad Buffer, yeah, always does a fantastic job. Even drew us up a Kristen to put on that episode art. Fantastic.
Shout out to Kristen for making it on Wrestling with Power.
Yeah, what a show. What a segment. I listened back to it today. It was great. Best show so far has to be, other than the fact that we were pretty much on life support. But we're back, and we're here, and we're recharged, and I'm feeling good. Are you feeling good, Slick Vic?
Oh, yeah, man. We survived WrestleMania weekend. We are ready to go.
Yeah. All right, Slick Vic. We're live right now on Facebook. We got Kevin joining us here already right off the bat. He's not waiting around for the end of the show to come this time. He's right there. What's up, Kevin? Thanks for joining in.
What's up, Kevin?
We got SmackDown. No, I'm sorry. I'm reading the. We don't got SmackDown yet. We got WrestleMania 42, Night 2, WrestleMania Sunday, the review coming at you guys. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Raw after Mania, Monday Night Raw last night. And while we're doing the WrestleMania 42 review, obviously we're going to be going over Slick Vic's picks. I've already told Slick Vic I'm out. I'm done with picks. We will not review what picks I had. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. We're just doing Slick Vic's picks, and I'm going to give you the Gigawatt ratings for WrestleMania 42, Night 2. For those of you who haven't caught the episode 37 yet, because I think we just literally put it up yesterday. The highest scored matches on that card for the Gigawatt ratings were the Women's Tag Team Championship match, which I gave a 7 gigawatts, and Gunther versus Seth Rollins, which I also gave 7. So, pretty good scores, pretty decent matches. But tonight we're talking about Night 2 of WrestleMania, and I'm going to let Slick Vic go ahead and take it away for us.
Should we have like 40 minutes of ads before I get to the first match?
Yeah, you want to take a 40-minute pause for the cause and give a shout out to all our sponsors. And no, what do you start by announcing the match you're going to talk about, and then we're going to cut to commercial break, and we'll be back in 20 minutes, and then it'll take us an hour and a half to do one match. That's all more right. Appropriate.
So John Cena comes out. He says, Night 1 was incredible. Do you agree, Mr. Mosley?
I wouldn't say incredible. We talked about this. It got a 5.4 rating overall here at Wrestling with Power. The Gigawatts gave it a 5.4, which is very mid. Very mid.
Yeah. All right. Well, he welcomes us to Night 2, and here we go. All right, so 30 minutes of ads. I'm kidding. We'll go on now. Oh, we have Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi. So,
what happened when he said, "Welcome to Night 2"? Remember, the entire theme changed.
Oh, well, enlighten me.
Well, I think it's important to note that because the aesthetic, the theme of WrestleMania Night 1 was sort of like a Mad Max post-apocalyptic war zone. And then when Cena comes out and says something big in Night 2, and then on the screen, the city blows up and crumbles. And then you see the electricity coming up and everything turns blue, and it's like the new aesthetic of Night 2. It's got its own style. Thought that was great because I thought the Night 2 right off the bat looked it same set, same building, but something about that aesthetic just looked better. So,
Okay.
and we'll find out with Vic's review here that Night 2 it went up. It definitely went up from Night 1, but right off the bat, man, just something as simple as changing that aesthetic made it look so much better. I'm sorry, Slick Vic, continue.
All right. So the opening match, as advertised, was Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi. So right away, you can tell Oba is really over. We have men, women, and children all going. Okay, I'll stop doing that. We have the big match intros, even though there's no title on the line. Really, this was short and to the point, and it was great. Let's start off by saying Brock's selling is fantastic, and I'm not just talking about the way he sells his opponent's offense, the facial expressions he makes throughout the match. They tell a lot. They tell the story right there. The guy can tell a story without saying much, and he made Oba look like $1 million here. They trade some offense in the beginning. The corner shoulder tackles have no effect on Oba. Brock hits a few German suplexes and an F5, but Oba's back to his feet, hits Lesnar with a choke slam and a fall from grace for the win. Good shit. Post-match, Lesnar takes his gloves and boots off, leaving them in the ring, waves goodbye to the crowd, gives Paul Heyman a very emotional hug. Heyman is in tears. Good stuff. Fantastic opening tonight, too. Mr. Mosley, what did you think?
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. And I wasn't expecting much. We talked about it. We knew that no matter how that match ended, it was going to be quick. It was going to be impactful. It's exactly what we got. I was surprised that, well, first of all, I do want to say that I picked Brock Lesnar to win that one. I will reveal that pick just because at that time, the idea was, Brock will probably retire in Minnesota at SummerSlam and likely against Gunther. That's not completely ruled out yet, but it would be kind of silly if he went back on the big thing he did at the end of this match. So I thought it wouldn't make sense for him to lose here and look weak if that's where he was going. But I do wish that we had at least saw him kick out of the fall from grace and then get hit with another one to go down. I thought that that was the only part I didn't like about all this. I thought the ending was beautiful. Seeing Brock emotional is crazy because he always talks about how he doesn't give a shit about anything and blah, blah, blah. He was crying. He was emotional, whether it was fake or not. He was selling it, taking his boots and his gloves and stuff off, and very emotional with Paul Heyman. I thought it was just amazing. It was incredible. The match was exactly what it needed to be. Exactly what it needed to be. Except for, like I said, just a gripe I have. I wish that if Brock was going to go down, I wish that he had at least kicked out of Oba's finisher one time and then had Oba hit him with it again to put him away. That was my only gripe.
This goes to show you how protected the fall from grace is. One of them put Brock Lesnar down.
Choke slam, fall from grace, and he's done. Count him out. Count him to 30. He laid there a while.
So what about the Gigawatts, man?
Well, excuse me, Slick Vic. I'm glad you asked. Gigawatt ratings. I'll tell you what, Slick Vic. I'll let you take a stab at what I gave this on the Gigawatt scale. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the Gigawatt scale, there are 5 categories: build, quality, memorable moments, emotion, and result. Each of those categories can get a maximum of 2 points each for a perfect score of 10, or there are halves. We don't go into quarters or any of that stuff. There's either half, whole, or maximum of 2. Slick Vic, what do you think I gave this one?
Man, I'm going to go with a 7.5 out of 10.
Gosh, you're very close, my friend. I gave this 7 gigawatts.
Okay.
7 gig. Very good guess, Slick Vic. You know me better than I give you credit for. Build got a 1 here because the build wasn't really any. I mean, it's just been, 2, maybe 3 weeks of them not really doing a whole lot. Oba's been beating up Brock most of the time, except for last week when they were separated. You know, you each go to your corner, so you can't behave. Quality got a 1. It's not that there was anything wrong with it, but the match was literally like a 4-minute long. You know, it was just shy of being a squash match. So that's not, top tier quality or anything. Memorable moments, 1.5. Emotion, I mean, come on. That got maxed out. Blew through the roof. Absolute 2 for emotion. And result got a 1.5.
Okay.
For 7. Slick Vic, who'd you have to win that match, by the way? Donald Trump?
Does he walk like that too?
Yeah, he dances like that.
Well, I did not pick Donald Trump.
Cutting you off.
I picked the ruler of the world. What does he say? The ruler of all world.
The bringer of war.
Yeah.
The destroyer.
I picked Obafemi to win that match.
All right, let's hit it again. Kevin says the crowd was thunderous for Oba. Yes, they were. Very thunderous. Very lively crowd for that opening match.
All right. Match 2 on night 2. We have a ladder match for the Intercontinental title featuring Rusev, J.D. McDonough, Javon Evans, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and the champion, Penta. Right away, I got to point out that J.D., Rusev, and Dragon Lee are already in the ring. These poor guys on the 3.5-hour show still got the jabroni entrance.
The jabrones.
So they right away, clearly they're not winning. Those two for sure. You knew right away they weren't winning.
Dead giveaway.
Also, Penta gets a video package before his entrance, which right away had made me go, I think there's a good chance he's going to win this match. And Penta came out in a Shao Kahn helmet from Mortal Kombat 2. By the way, each match is kind of is sponsored by something. Some of them are kind of funny. Like they had Gunther and Seth Rollins sponsored by the General.
Yeah, the General was in attendance, by the way. I thought that was cool.
The ring General, the General.
Yeah.
And then you had Becky and AJ Lee, sponsored by Wendy's. The blonde, the redheaded girl and Becky Lynch are in the match.
Yeah.
Anyways, Mortal Kombat 2. We got Shao Kahn here. And also, if you noticed, I don't think the helmet fit right because like Penta's like taunts were slower than normal. Still look badass though.
I think he didn't want it to mess up his actual mask and or face paint as well. So he was being very careful with that helmet. But I can't believe this, Slick Vic. I don't know what I was doing when this match opened. I totally missed this entire entrance. I sent you a thing the other night. I woke up in the middle of the night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck did he? I thought it was AI. I sent it to you, and I'm like, how the hell did I miss this? But yeah, he came out full Shao Kahn. The smallest Shao Kahn I've ever seen, but still.
You were probably refilling some libations, making sure the spirits were high?
I wasn't drinking libations on Sunday. I tapped out after Saturday. I was done. So okay. I don't know what I might have been napping. I napped, forewarn you, I napped through 95% of the United States title match, and I haven't went back and watched this, so I'm interested to see how that went down.
All right. Lastly, I want to point out that Rey Mysterio came out in a Deadpool-inspired attire, which I thought looked kind of cool. Did you catch that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I noticed it part way through, yeah.
So the match begins with the Luchadors ganging up on JD. They beat him up, and then the three of them have a nice three-way stare down. Now, I'm not going to go through all the spots, so I'll just talk about a few things I liked, which there's quite a few things, actually. That springboard clothesline from Javon to JD onto the ladder, the 619 to Dragon while his head was wrapped in the ladder, Penta launching Rey Mysterio onto Rusev, which went through the table. They called it the West Coast Pop. That looked badass and devastating. JD with the Spanish fly to Dragon Lee from the ladder was smooth. Penta with the Mexican destroyer to JD on the ladder looked like... What did Michael Cole even said? JD is dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
And Wade says somebody scraped JD off. And the OG cutter to Rusev was all right, but Rusev clearly had to like jump into it.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. Like why would he just not stay where he was at?
Right.
like give him the Samoa Joe treatment and just let him fall on his face.
Everyone was raving about that spot. I'm like, Penta kind of like launched himself to get caught into that move.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, Penta wins and retains the IC title. Fun stuff. Delivered on what I wanted, which was a high-flying spectacle. So I enjoyed it. And what say you?
Well, it was the high point of all of these matches that we've been seeing for the last several weeks involving all of these guys. So hopefully they're going their separate ways now and we can get something fresh out of them. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid ladder match. Had some, high points, memorable moments, if you will. And Slick Vic, I gave this a 6.5. Build got a 1, quality got a 2. Memorable moments, 1.5. Emotion got a 0.5. I wasn't that emotionally invested in this. It was exciting. That was about it. And result got a 1.5 because, we talked about this before. It's okay if Penta retains and continues. He's doing a good job with the title. But also, I could have seen a scenario for just about anybody else winning this match, too, that would have worked for me. So that's it, 6.5. Solid match.
Do you remember who I chose to win this match?
I believe you chose Penta.
You are correct, sir. Thank you. Now, moving right along. The U.S. title match.
Kevin chimed in and said, I can't think of a bad IC title ladder match. That match rocked. He's got a point.
Yeah. All right. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the U.S. title. So Trick's jacket is like 50 feet long. It kind of looks like a train you see on a wedding dress, but whatever. There's back and forth action to start the match. The crowd is firmly behind Trick. And the Trick shot is reversed to a blue thunder bomb. Sammy's working heel here, by the way, and showing a mean streak and even jumping Lil Yachty. Like, what did Lil Yachty do to deserve such a beating? He called him a gingerbread man or something. And anyway, Sammy hits a brainbuster on the Trick on the apron. That looked good. This is like Sammy's like once a year move now that he brings out every WrestleMania, I think. So that's cool. It's kind of like when The Undertaker would do a dive over the top rope.
Yeah.
All right. So Yachty distracts Sammy. Trick hits a Trouble in Paradise and counters a Helluva Kick into the Trick shot for the win and the title. So despite my earlier grumbles about some of the match lengths from yesterday, I'm glad this one was short and the right person won. Match is okay. The Brainbuster I said looked great. The crowd cheering Trick Williams and turning on Sammy was good, but other than that, there wasn't much, and I just wasn't feeling much drama. Probably because I'm kind of burnt out on this whole Sami Zayn stuff that we've been seeing week in and week out. So, so. And you?
Well, so let me start by giving you my score for this. The Gigawatts gave this a 4.5. And you let me know if you think that's fair or not. Build got 1, quality 1.5, memorable moments 0, emotion 0.5, and result 1.5. There's 2 reasons that led to this score, and there's 2 things that I didn't like about this match. Number 1, I've been talking about it forever. I said Sammy needs to turn heel, and I said that if he didn't turn heel here, I was done with him. So I'm officially done with Sami Zayn. I'm so sick of him. I hope that somebody takes a torch to his beard and he comes back with just complete no facial hair, Gene Snitsky looking motherfucker. That's what needs to happen because I'm sick of his face. I'm sick of his beard. I'm sick of everything that he does. It's so old. You said you were burnt out on it. I've been burnt out on it. I'm done. Done with Sammy. Congratulations, Trick Williams. 1.5 for the result because I think the right guy won. Sammy didn't need that belt, but Sammy needed to turn heel. And that didn't happen, and I didn't care for that. Plus, like I said earlier, I napped for a little bit during this one, so I'm basing this on what I did see, and from your description of how it went, I think I got it right.
Yeah.
Who'd you have to win this match, Slick Vic?
Whoop that trick.
Slick Vic's on a serious roll with the picks tonight so far, so congratulations, Slick Vic. Once again, guessed it. Spot on.
All right. Proceeding this match. Or is it after this match? Whatever.
Yeah, proceeding. You got it right.
Dominic
Not preceding,
Mysterio.
proceeding.
Proceeding. Yeah, the proceeding announcements have been paid for by the New World Order. That's why I second guessed
by Dodge Ram.
Actually, I don't know which match. I don't know what sponsored this next match, but it makes me think of, I'm guessing Dude Wipes because Dominic Mysterio was in it, but
probably. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Dominic Mysterio versus the Demon, Finn Balor, in a street fight. Now, I know we were all looking forward to the Demon's entrance, but Dom coming out on an Aztec throne looked pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Of course, Finn's entrance was cool too, with the red stuff coming out of the sky and him reaching for the heart. Good stuff. Like when I say the red stuff, I mean like there was like those confetti, similar to like what they did in the Olympics in France.
I think they're called streamers.
Okay. Yeah. I was
if I'm not mistaken.
struggling to find the correct term, but thank you.
Pretty sure that's what they're called, streamers. Yeah.
Okay. I believe you. All right. The intensity that Demon Balor brings is always welcome. Dom had to use a kendo stick to get on the offense, which was believable. He hits a 619 and a frog splash, but Balor kicks out a 1. Balor comes back, loads up the coup de grace, but misses. Dom hits some chair shots and throws Finn through a table. A chair shot assisted 619 and another frog splash. This time only gets a 2. Dom loads up another table, but the Demon rises from the ashes, hits Dom with several chair shots, wraps Dom's head and shotgun drop kicks him, which Dom sold extremely well. Like he just bounced off the rope and the chair went flying. A coup de grace through the table, which looked like it hurt. I'm sure most of those coup de grace hurt, but goddamn. And that gave Finn Balor, a.k.a. the Demon, the win. So I thought this was pretty good. I got what I wanted, which is seeing Finn Balor be the Demon and do Demon things. Dom held up his own, and those two worked well together. Good match.
I agree. I thought it was a really good match. It was better than I was expecting because I was really expecting more of a squash. I was expecting the Demon to come out here and squash him. I'm glad that didn't happen. I think I would have been fine if that's how it did go, but I'm glad that we got some meaningful offense from Dominic here. Shined him up well, even against the Demon. So I like that. I gave this a 7 gigawatts. 2 for build. Obviously, build's been going on for a long time. Quality 1.5. Memorable moments. I got a 1 point. That doesn't mean there was just one. That means 1 point out of 2. So there were a few. Emotion 0.5. Result 2. Absolutely, the right person won this one. There was no other way for it to go. 7 gigawatts. Slick Vic, who'd you have to win this match?
I need a pint of Guinness first, and I'll tell you, but the Demon, Finn Balor.
All right. Congratulations once again, Slick Vic, on guessing the right thing there. We'll take a little pause here and see what Big Kev is messaging to us. He thought the streamers were cool as well. He also says that we were wondering what Lil Yachty had in his fanny pack. We guessed that he had it packed out with even littler yachties. Yeah. All right. That's good shit, pal.
Thank you, Kevin. All right. Shall we move on?
Go ahead.
All right. Oh God, which championship is this? The women's SmackDown
WWE
Championship?
Women's Championship.
I always get those mixed up. For the WWE Women's Championship, we have Rhea Ripley challenging Jade Cargill. I don't know how you describe Jade's entrance gear. Like just a bunch of curls going around. And then Rhea comes out wearing white, which is different than her usual black.
Yeah.
Still gets a loud pop. The screen is loaded with skulls that look cool, remind me of the Bone Temple. They trade some power moves to start. Jade gets the advantage, sends Rhea into the barricade outside, hits a blue thunder bomb. Jade gets the, what's it called? Then Rhea starts smiling and taunts Jade. Jade applies a crippler crossface. Did you catch that?
I don't have a soundbite for that one.
Anyways, Rhea comes back with the capoeira kick. They slug it out. Rhea hits an electric chair drop. Jade hits the spine buster. Jade is reversed for a victory roll for 2, and then Beechin and B-Fab come out, and they cause all sorts of shenanigans and distractions. Jade hits what they call the sandstorm, but I'm pretty sure that was Kenny Omega's one-winged angel.
Yeah,
did you?
It was. Mm-hmm.
All right, so Io Sky comes out to even the odds, or help Rhea Ripley. And then back inside, another Jaded attempt is reversed into the Riptide for the win, giving Rhea Ripley her 4th women's championship. I thought this was all right. Probably one of, if not the best Jade Cargill match of her WWE career. Not one of Rhea's best WrestleMania matches. Those belong to the 2 she had with Charlotte and that triple threat from last year. Now, you probably, our listeners are probably sick of me talking about match lengths, but this was about 10 minutes and change, which is about 3 to 4 minutes longer than Liv and Stephanie got. But 10 minutes is probably the absolute max you should give Jade Cargill and saying her, for her matches. So I was fine with that. I still feel like Steph and Liv could have gone maybe 10 to 12 minutes themselves, but overall, this was fine. Not great, but honestly, not much to hate on either. And let me know what you think then, pal.
You mentioned something that was interesting a moment ago. You said that this was probably Jade's best match, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how many WrestleManias has she. Did you say WrestleMania? I don't know if you said WrestleMania, but you pointed out that Rhea's last couple of WrestleManias were far better, and then you named the opponents, Charlotte Flair. That right there tells you everything you need to know. This match to me was, Jade did okay, but this was an expose on just how green Jade still is. Because she's in there with one of the best, if not the best, women's wrestler in the world right now. And you could just tell, man. You could tell so easily. You said give her 10 minutes, that's the max. Absolutely. I would say the max is 5. Because if she goes 2 minutes, 3 minutes, where she just slams somebody real quick, all right, we're out of here. And nothing is lost. But when you got to do a little bit of selling, when you got to do more than 1 or 2 moves, it starts to become a little bit obvious. I gave this match, Slick Vic, a 4 Gigawatt. So I thought I wasn't really being gracious here. The result got a 2 automatically right off the bat, 2 points for the result because it went the right way. Build got a 1, quality got a 1. So, unfortunately for Rhea, I think Jade's performance knocked the quality down a little bit, but 0 in memorable moments and emotion for me. 4 Gigawatts, lowest rated match of not 2.
Well, I guess we should say we should reveal my pick for this match.
Why don't you reveal that to the peeps?
Jade Cargill.
What was that?
Nothing. Nothing.
You think you need to speak up for the people in the back? I don't think they heard you.
It was Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill?
That was my pick.
Wow, what a roll you were on, Slick Vic, and an impressive one it was, but Jade Cargill just came in and gave you the one-winged angel, the one-winged fairy, as Jim Cornette calls it. So
Sandstorm.
The Sandstorm. That's a shit name, by the way. Shit name for that move. All right. Next up.
All right. So before the main event, we have a segment. We have a very lengthy segment, a very interesting segment, so to speak. John Cena comes back out to announce the attendance, 55,255. And then the Miz and Kit Wilson interrupt. Miz says he's not leaving until he gets his WrestleMania moment, damn it. Cena says, well, you got it. And Danhausen comes out with little Danhausens. Or, you can tell what Michael Cole wanted to. I know you've been itching to say it.
Midgets. They're called midgets.
Because, they
even
wanted...
got permission to call them midgets. Midgets is not a bad word, especially in the context of wrestling. They are midgets.
So Danhausen comes out in what they call the Danhausen mobile. It kind of looked like a little mini tank go-kart combination thing.
It was cool. It looked like it looked like his symbol was like ripped off of Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. It was great.
All right. So Danhausen gets in the ring and he says he's finally made it to WrestleMania Hausen. He says he's got something to say to Cena, and Cena looked mortified. That was fantastic.
He sold it really good.
Danhausen goes up to him and says he's a huge fan and shakes his hand. Kit Wilson calls one of the little Danhausens toxic and pie faces him. Kit gets punched in the balls, and then a dog pile. The Miz then gets punched in the balls by Danhausen, a 5-knuckle shufflehausen, and Danhausen scurries away after, the little pyro thing.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. The good ha-ha segment, in my opinion. I had fun with it. I mean, Danhausen right now is a riot. So, yeah, I had a good time.
You know what I thought was just so great about this entire segment?
What's that?
Aside from this being an official match between Danhausen and The Miz, you called this to a T a few weeks ago. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
But you called it to a T. You said that Miz would come out pissed because he's not on WrestleMania, and that Danhausen would come out. You called it perfect. You called it perfect.
I don't always like to toot my own horn, but toot, toot.
Toot, toot, indeed, sir. You know what? I'll give you a
All right, I deserve that one because that's the last one we're going to hear tonight.
Yeah. Spoiler.
All right. We finally get our main event. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. So Roman has live drums, piano, and a singer to play him out. And then CM Punk has a video package. I've come to learn that this is his old ROH theme song, which is, do you still remember the title?
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Miseria Cantare.
Okay.
It's Italian. I think it's Italian for singing in misery.
Okay. So Punk makes his way to the back through that music. When he gets to the stage, the music cuts off, and then Punk does it's clobbering time, and Cult of Personality kicks in. Good stuff. All right, so we got a lengthy feeling out process from both men. Lots of trash talking. Roman hits a Samoan drop, and the crowd is singing Roman's name, and they acknowledge him. All right, they fight outside. They fight in the crowd. Punk takes control for a second until Roman body slams him off the announcer's table, which looked really good. Roman is back in control, and Punk wrapped in the ropes. A Superman punch misses, and Punk fights back with a splash, heel kick, and corner knee bulldog combo. The GTS is reversed to a Superman punch for a 2 count. Roman loads up a spear, but he eats another corner knee attack. And then Roman then puts Punk in the tree of woe with Punk's head hanging from the outside. That looked great. And he gave him, 3 Superman punches and a chair and a shot with the steel steps. And Punk is now busted open. I was surprised the ref didn't call a DQ there because he was literally watching it happen. He took the steel steps and hit him right in the face with it.
They made a lot of mention, the announcers did, that the ref is going to let a lot go in this match. And
Yeah.
he did. He did.
That's true. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I wasn't mad. I wasn't too mad about it because I was really invested. But that was a little odd that he just used a weapon in front of the ref without any DQ stipulations.
Blatant, yeah.
All right. Punk is then powerbombed through the announcer's table. Roman goes for spear, but eats a GTS for 2. Roman reverses a second GTS attempt into a spear for 2. And these guys are bringing it. Roman now hits a GTS, but Roman now tries a GTS, but it reverses it. Punk loads up and hits a Superman punch for 2. Punk grabs an Ula Fala and tries to spear Roman, but it's reversed into the guillotine choke, which is then reversed into an Anaconda Vice, reversed back into the guillotine choke, and then Punk tries a sharpshooter. Man, I popped. I was like, oh, please hit the damn sharpshooter. It's WrestleMania. Lock that sucker in. Ah, he didn't do it. Punk collapsed. Another choke. And I thought that might have been it there. I was like, oh shit, is Punk like going to pass out here? Anyways, both men get up and a double clothesline sends both men back down and the crowd goes wild. A simple double clothesline spot. Classic. Good shit. Both men start trash talking and slugging it out. The crowd is electric and I am invested. This is where this is a fight. Both men are giving everything they've got. Look at me. I'm getting so excited talking about it. I'm stepping over my own words. But then in a weird spot, Punk crumbles and throws his wrist tape at Roman. And the ref grabs it to throw it out. So while the ref is distracted, Punk hits a low blow and a GTS. And I thought that was it too. But it's only good for a 2 count. So Roman loads up. Punk loads Roman onto the announce table and hits the Macho Man elbow drop right on the mark. Back inside, Punk hits a GTS. Roman bounces off the ropes and lands on Punk's shoulders. We've seen this before. We've seen the spot a few times now. Punk looks like he's going to hit another GTS, but he collapsed from exhaustion. Roman hits a spear. Him and Punk have one final face-off as Roman bounces off the ropes and hits another spear for the win. Man, I'm exhausted. That was epic. Easy contender for match of the year, in my opinion. They literally put it all on the line tonight. I was on the edge of my seat wondering who was going to win. There was no bullshit interference. In fact, it was a clean finish. This was worthy of a WrestleMania main event. I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Absolutely.
I'm done.
And that was the shorthand version. You know what? There's so much I want to say about this. And I'm probably going to kick myself in the ass later for forgetting to say something about this. But this was about as close to perfect of a match that I can think of. I have watched Punk's entrance to this match at least 5 times today. And that's just today. And I've shown it to like 2 or 3 people. Like, look, you watch WrestleMania, man. You got to watch this entrance. This is crazy. It's awesome. And I'm like nerding out, explaining to them the music and the backstory and everything. The entrance. This was the best Punk entrance I've ever seen. It was one of the best entrances, video packages I've ever seen. It's one of the best matches at WrestleMania I've seen in years and years and years. I couldn't even tell you the last time that I've seen a match this good. And then when you combine the build into it, everything leading up to it, no bullshit. They didn't fuck with it too much like they did with the other world title match. It was perfect. The only thing that wasn't perfect was the result. I would have booked Punk to win. I would have rather had Punk win. And I think it would have then been absolutely just spotless, just absolutely perfect. But I'm not saying that Roman winning was a complete wrong decision. I'm just saying, do you know what I'm saying, Slick Vic? Are you smelling what I'm stepping in here?
I was totally expecting Punk to win too. Well, spoiler alert, that was my pick because and do we need to put the title back on Roman after that last run, which was, like an all-time memorable run?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we'll talk about Raw here in a few minutes, but it's starting to look like they're going back to sort of the bloodline times with this angle. And you can't fault them for that. it was a hot thing for a long time, and wrestling was at its peak. I don't know if that's going to be enough to bring it back to where it was, but I think that's what they're strongly leaning towards here. But everything considered, Punk coming out, he's got the jacket on with all of the WWE producers that have passed away and picture of his dog, and he's got the crown on the back of it with Harley Race, and he stands there in silence after the AFI song gets done. He stands there in silence for like a minute. And I read somewhere that was sort of like, it's like a silent moment for the people who have passed type of thing before the cult of personality thing hits. But when you consider all those things, and it was just about as close to perfect as I can think. Couldn't have wanted anything more. Like I said, I just wish Punk had won this one. If he had, whenever he hits the GTS and then Roman bounces off the ropes and then Punk picks him back up and he collapses from exhaustion, I think that it would have been completely fine up until that point. But then whenever Roman goes for the spear, Punk slaps on the Anaconda Vice and Roman taps out in the middle of the ring. Would have been a better way to go, in my opinion. It's just me.
What are we gonna do first? The score or the pick?
We're gonna do the pick first. You already gave it away, so let's go ahead and.
Fucking bullshit.
All right, Slick Vic. So the score is an interesting one, Slick Vic, and I'm gonna let you guess. This is the last match, main event. I've talked this up big time. What do you think I gave this match?
Man, you said very little negative, yeah. So I have to go with, I'm going to say a 9 out of 10.
You got it right on the nose, my friend. 9 gigawatts for this match. Everything hit every mark. Build, quality, memorable moments, and emotion were all 2 out of 2. Yeah, like I said, the only thing that I would have, if Punk had won, especially in the fashion that I mentioned a moment ago, easily would have been a 2. But unfortunately, I had to dock it. I had to give it a 1 for result. It wasn't the complete wrong result, which is why I didn't get a 0. But 1 for result. 9 gigawatts. This has got to be the highest rated match I've ever rated in terms of gigawatts. And we talked about on night 1 how the main event was lackluster. The fact that this main event was so friggin' good made the night 1 main event even worse. Without doing anything, it just automatically made it like even worse. Like you just don't want to go back and watch that night 1 main event now. Like, how did they go so wrong? But in this one, they went so right. It's crazy to think about.
It's like they were forced to shoehorn Pat McAfee all over that main event.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was WWE Creative or TKO or ESPN wanting that, but that's what we got.
They could have so easily, because like I said with the entrance with Punk, and it's going over like the history and when he was super young and in the indies and everything, and it's showing these flashbacks. They could have used that same type of thing with Orton and Cody. Get Pat McAfee. The whole McAfee thing should have not existed. They shouldn't have even had Orton turn heel. And I mentioned this on our last episode. Just have him be Randy Orton. He doesn't need to turn heel. He doesn't need to work heel, because he worked heel in that match. Well, Cody worked heel a lot in that match.
Cody worked heel, yeah.
But I think that was a result of everything as well. They should have just been themselves. They should have used the history, and it would have been 10 times better. It would have been a lot similar to how this one unfolded. But like I said, man, just about as close to perfect, and I don't know if anything's ever going to top it. It's going to take some time because, like I mentioned too on the last episode, a lot of these WrestleMania matches get a 2 out of 2 for build, because it's WrestleMania, so we're building for a long time, and it's like the best stories and the best promo segments and things leading up to these matches. So a lot of them, they get the max build, whereas on other pay-per-views throughout the year, it doesn't really happen that way. So it remains to be seen. But right now, this, for me, best match of the year. Definitely on my top 5, easily. Great way to end the show. I'm not completely butthurt that Roman won. I just wish it had went the other way.
Same. All right. Oof. That was WrestleMania, man. WrestleMania 42 in the books. Are we ready for the post-credit scene that is Monday Night Raw?
Well, I'm ready for a pause because my phone's about to die, so I need to charge it for at least a couple of moments. If we can take a pause for the cause.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back. We're back from that pause for the cause. And now we're going to talk about some Monday Night Raw. Slick Vic, if you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
All right. So, according to my notes, Raw took place in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
I've been there.
I think I was there over the weekend, actually. The show opens with a recap of WrestleMania 42. Then Oba Femi heads to the ring. And people are chanting Oba. He stands there for a long time, soaks in the chants, and he simply says, "The ruler is here," or "the ruler has arrived," or something to that effect. Then he walks away. All right, so some would call that a mic drop moment. I don't know. I don't know if I was feeling it. Vic, what did you think about this?
It was all right. I mean, he just came to say, he didn't came to say much. I was thinking when they're all, the crowd's going, "Oh," but I'm like, "Oh, bask in his glory."
I thought we were actually going to get Brock Lesnar's music. I don't know why I was expecting Lesnar to come out, but we got Oba. From that, we have a match, the Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea. So more of this, and I'm honestly not interested. Not interested. I'm over it. I'm done. And then I think we're done, and then it's more of it. As far as the match, there's nothing here that we haven't really seen before. There is a point where Io takes a nasty dive onto Asuka towards the end of the match. She's got to quit doing that. She's got to quit doing those suicide dives to the outside. She keeps landing on her head. It's not going to end well one of these days. Then Rhea hits a riptide on Kairi, and Io follows up with an over-the-moon moonsault to pick up the pinfall. So, Io and Rhea win, and my God, let it be over, please. We're going to see a segment from them here in a few moments, but as far as that goes, that was that. Let's get a couple of things here, Slick Vic, and I'll get your thoughts. Backstage segment up next. Adam Pearce introduces the newest superstar to the Raw roster, Ethan Page, to Javon Evans, and promptly sets up a match between the two later tonight. Next, we get a segment where CM Punk comes out, and he talks about all of the loss that he has experienced in the last 6 months. He tells us about the names that he had on his jacket at last night's WrestleMania, names of several WWE producers, backstage staff that passed away recently, his dog Larry, etc., etc., etc. But he says that the fans helped him get through it all. Punk says you never know when a championship opportunity will fall out of the sky. And what do you know, Slick Vic? Conveniently, Cody Rhodes' music plays. And he comes down to the ring with a black eye that's almost as bad as the one that Hulk Hogan had at WrestleMania 9. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, check out our retro review of WrestleMania 9. Just a couple episodes, I believe episode 35. It's fantastic. No, is it 35? 35 was what happened. No, 30. I can't even remember. We've done so many episodes now. Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to figure this out for you. But we did episode 35. I was correct. Retromania 9. Anyway, back to Raw. That black eye's disgusting that Cody's packing around. And so Cody, and Punk, they have a little bit of a back and forth word-wise. Cody says something that he shouldn't be standing there feeling like a loser, and Punk's like, so you mean that I should feel like a loser, et cetera, et cetera. You never know when a championship opportunity will fall out of the sky, and Cody's like, say when. So apparently that's happening. That's in the cards sometime. We don't really get an answer, but, that'd be cool. I'm down for it. Up next, we have a Balor segment. This is Finn Balor backstage doing his pre-recorded business. Finn says he's not done with the Judgment Day, even though the Demon beat Dominic Mysterio last night at WrestleMania. And then we get some informative history about the relationship between Finn Balor and JD McDonough, which is really interesting stuff. How Finn helped him get into the world of pro wrestling. JD came to his wrestling school in Ireland, and he's been with him the whole way. But he says when the time came, JD chose Dom instead, and that he will, like he brought him into the world of pro wrestling, he will take him out of the world of pro wrestling later tonight. All right, Slick Vic, up next is a match, but before we move on, your thoughts on the Balor segment, the Punk segment, the Ethan Page reveal, or the Kabuki Warriors versus Rio match.
Well, let's start with the women's tag match. Like you, I'm kind of over this. I think, why couldn't they just pay this off at WrestleMania? Maybe just have a Io Sky versus Asuka match with Kyrie on a pole or something.
I feel like didn't we do this a few weeks ago where Rhea and Io went their separate ways? Yeah, it was right after Rio won. Did she win the Chamber or the Rumble? Anyway, she won the right to go to WrestleMania and fight for the SmackDown title, and they said their goodbyes and all that stuff. And we already did this. We've already done this. And now we're doing it again.
It feels like it's dragged on too long. I don't know if they're just going to milk it all the way to Backlash, because obviously they're going to have a match, and Kyrie's probably going to betray Asuka, and we'll be done with this.
I would hope so, yeah.
The match itself is all right. That Io's double underhook backbreaker looked good. Kyrie hit an insane elbow to Rhea from the top rope to the outside that looked really good. Like you said, Io is going to mess her neck up if she keeps doing that dive. It's like it happened like 2 weeks ago where she just did that dive. I mean, that's a really good. She does hit a nice angle when she goes, but sometimes on impact she just falls right onto her head. And I'm like, please don't die. Please don't die. Ethan Page is on Raw. I watched some of his stuff on NXT the last several months, and he is freaking entertaining. I'm happy he's here. I think you may like him, so we'll see. The Punk promo, CM Punk, Phil. He was very good. He was his usual good self. I love the tease with Cody at the end. By the way, is that black eye a shoot, or is that just makeup, or a combination of both?
I think that's a shoot. When Randy punted him, he really fucked him up.
Okay, because I don't remember seeing Cody with the black eye.
He had a big swollen eye. There was pictures of it after their match at Mania. Yeah, it was nasty.
Well, I think one of these days they might actually have that match. Maybe not anytime soon, but they milked Orton and Cody for like 2 years before they finally actually had that. So we'll see.
I think the point is, and we'll see later on, they are positioning Roman now with the World Heavyweight title. They're getting him away from this CM Punk thing. They're getting him away from all this. They're moving on from this. I don't think we're going to see a rematch between those two.
No, I think Roman.
I think that's why they're planting the seeds here with Cody, and maybe Punk goes for the WWE belt. It's my guess.
And don't get me wrong, I want to see it. I do want to see Punk and Cody. All right, so did you cover? Was that where we left off? There was the Finn Balor video package that was nicely produced. I dug it. I even liked that they gave JD one later in the evening. But yeah.
So we get the response later in the evening. Continues to be, like I said, more informative information. And I love this, man. I love the real world backstory between these two, because I don't know. It's just good shit. It's stuff I didn't know. Speaking of stuff I didn't know, I didn't watch Ethan Page in NXT. I knew he was there, and I'd seen some clips of like promos that he had done, but I'd never watched a match of his. But up next, we're going to see a match of his between Ethan Page and Javon Evans. And they have a solid match. I was impressed. Color me impressed. Admittedly, I note, this is my first time watching Ethan Page in a match. He hits a nice pull-up power slam that the announcers call vintage Ethan Page, and I feel very out of place because I've never seen it. Javon is still bouncy. There's still too many commercials during the matches. And eventually, Rusev appears in the Timekeeper's area and tries to knock out Javon, but misses. Back in the ring, Javon gets pulled off the turnbuckle and hit with Page's finisher, which is cool as hell. I don't know what it's called. I don't remember, but it's like a spinning cutter type thing. It's pretty badass looking. But again, I missed what it was called. Maybe Slick Vic can help us out there.
Twisted Grin.
Twisted Grin. Post-match, Rusev gets his beat down on Javon, but Penta comes out to save him. Ethan Page pushes Penta off the top turnbuckle and back into the ring for Rusev to pick the bones. Rusev slaps on the accolade on Penta and holds the Intercontinental Championship up, and that's pretty much how we end this whole fiasco. Following this, we have an in-ring segment, and this is Liv Morgan's celebratory speech. So Liv Morgan comes down to the ring. She's got the Judgment Day with her. The crowd chants, "You deserve it." Liv says that's the smartest thing they've said all day. She thanks her Judgment Day members, and then she thanks Stephanie Vaquer for reminding her of a feeling she hadn't had in a very long time. And this is her ring, her division, her championship. Everything belongs to Liv Morgan, apparently. Eventually, she gets cut off by Sol Ruca, and I popped. The two exchange some words. Adam Pearce comes out and calls out Jessica Carr for a match between Sol Ruca and Liv Morgan right now. So sweet. In this match, which I guess it's more along the lines of it's shorter than it is long, but Liv ends up looking strong here. The crowd turned on Liv during this one, so the favorite is very clear. I thought this was great because, you know, we start out with Liv coming out. She's the heel, right? She's the bitch that's trying to be a bitch, and she's the heel. But everybody loves her, so they're cheering for her. But then here comes Sol Ruca, and all of a sudden, you know, they're cheering for her and booing Liv during this match when she gets the offense. Liv hits several attacks and a drop kick on Sol, but only gets a 2 count out of it. The champ keeps on the offense, getting most of the shine throughout the match, but Sol puts on a show with her, flippiness. More commercial breaks. Then Sol has the advantage coming out of the commercial break. At the end, she counters the Oblivion and hits the Soul Snatcher on Liv, followed by a back handspring splash to the outside, where Zarya attacks her while the ref is distracted. So Zarya, her nemesis from NXT. Sol makes it back in the ring to beat the countout, but gets hit with Oblivion immediately, and Liv picks up the 3 count fall. So, thought Sol Ruca looked good. She works good. She's so unique. Hopefully this is an indication that we'll be seeing more of her on the main roster. She is definitely a future world champion sooner than later. Consider me a fan. After the match, Stephanie Vaquer comes out and has a stare down with Liv on the stage. And that's it. Slick Vic, I know I just unleashed a lot on you there. The Ethan Page and Javon Evans match, the Liv Morgan segment, and the Liv Morgan Sol Ruca match. Your thoughts?
All right, let's start with the match between Ethan Page and Javon Evans. It was almost a typical Javon Evans match. He's very bouncy. He got a lot of offense in. I think he was pretty much dominating most of the match. But Ethan Page came back. He hit the Twisted Grin, wins. I'm happy he won because I think Ethan Page has got a bright future. Not that Javon doesn't either. Javon's clearly going to excel in, maybe the U.S. title, Intercontinental title. Maybe one day he might even be in line for a main event push. I don't know if he'll win it, but he'll definitely have like a moment to shine. Ethan Page also same deal. He'll be Intercontinental champion soon, or U.S. champion. I guess Penta's on Raw, so that'd be IC champion.
I feel like they were planting those seeds here, having him involved with Penta there, Rusev there. Yeah. They're throwing him in the mix for sure.
The Judgment Day promo, man, Liv Morgan. She's a great performer, but she is grating. But I guess that's the job. I guess that's the point. I'm so glad, and I was happy to see Sol Ruka here. I popped as well. We got a match too, which is like, all right, sweet. Sol's gonna be huge. She's got that it factor. She's got impressive athleticism, similar to Javon Evans. She's got one of the coolest finishers, which is the Soul Snatcher. So yeah, I see bright things for Sol Ruka. She might even be women's champion by the end of the year.
I would wager that she will be involved in the women's title match, in a women's title match, at the very latest by WrestleMania 43.
Okay.
I think that she'll be somehow worked into the main event women's title match by WrestleMania 43.
Possibly even a 2027 Rumble winner.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So where are we going with Stephanie Vicaire coming out at the end? Is there going to be a rematch?
I mean, I don't know. There wasn't nothing to that. She came out and looked at her. There wasn't really anything special there. But yeah, I think that maybe we'll get a rematch. I don't think we need a rematch because how many times does Liv need to beat her before it's like, okay, come on, get real. So I don't know if I would expose her that much.
Maybe a rematch at Backlash with some sort of gimmick.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Sure. We'll have to see how that works out, yeah. Up next, we have an in-ring segment with Paul Heyman. He comes out with Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Heyman gives an emotional shout-out to Brock Lesnar. Then he hypes the Vision as being the cause behind the, quote, resurgence of the tag team division. He hands the mic to Logan Paul, who gets booed out of the building, very similar to how Dom used to get booed out of the building so loud that he can't even talk. Logan blames their loss at WrestleMania on ISHO Speed. Heyman then mentions Gunther and says he owes him one and is willing to pay up whenever, before introducing the returning Braun Breaker. Breaker gets to the ring and says from here on out, he's going to be coming for Seth Rollins. And we hear Seth Rollins' music hit. Rollins shows up behind the Vision with a chair and slams Breaker in the back. And from what I understand, when he hit him in the back, the chair actually slid up too while he swung and hit him in the back of the head and rung his bell pretty bad, enough to where he busted him open on the back of his head. But after he hits him with the chair, Breaker rolls out for several minutes, and during this, Seth Rollins gets outnumbered by the Vision members, but then we hear the Street Profits music hit, and they head to the ring to even the odds, taking the fight to Logan Paul and Austin Theory. So those four all fight off, and then Rollins and Breaker are left in the ring. Breaker goes for a spear, but eats a super kick from Rollins. And Breaker, I note at this point is when I noticed he was busted open, and I thought that he actually got busted open from the kick, but I learned later it was from the chair shot, and it was on the back of his head. Breaker manages to hit a spear on Rollins and talk some smack to him before hitting the rope several times and spearing Rollins again. Up next, we have a pre-recorded segment, and this is a response promo from JD McDonough ahead of his match against Finn Balor later tonight. I don't have any notes other than that. It's a response. It's a pre-recorded deal. It's exactly the same as we heard from Finn Balor, but JD's sort of given his side of the story here before their match, and their match is actually up next. But before we get there, Slick Vic, the Paul Heyman and Vision and Braun Breaker segment was one of the biggest segments here on Raw. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that, and if you have any on the JD McDonough as well.
Heyman getting emotional about Brock was really good. We got a thank you Brock chant out of that. I never thought I'd hear that. And then Logan Paul getting nuclear heat was great. Loved it. Him calling everyone outsiders is fantastic. Good heel shit. Good stuff.
Yeah, I love how he's like, I'm sick of these YouTubers and these streamers coming in. And that's exactly what he is.
That's good stuff.
That was good.
Braun Breaker is back, and he never gets booed. He's never properly been booed either. They're all woofing and cheering every time he gets a spear. And Seth Rollins gets saved by the Street Profits. Okay.
Weren't they on SmackDown the last time we saw them? Feuding with the MFT? Or no, feuding with the Wyatts?
It's been a while. Were they heels?
I remember, I swear to God, it's been so long that we saw the Street Profits that I actually forgot about them. But the last time I remember them doing anything, it's like they were backstage on SmackDown, and there was some dissension going on between them, and you had Bo Dallas, like, talking, like, saying weird stuff to him. I don't know. You're the SmackDown expert, Slick Vic. You're supposed to know these things.
One too many libations, man, from yesteryear.
I don't remember anything before Friday.
I'm off the swish, man. I told you that. It's just,
I'm on the swish hard tonight. I've drank like 3.5, but I have an excuse, okay? This episode is brought to you by Busch Light Apple. It's back, by the way. Go get some. It's fantastic. I had to get some tonight. I've only drank 3. So.
Be thankful that the crowd, to our audience, that you've only got one ad break today, 1 shilling from Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, and it wasn't more than 5 seconds.
No. All right. The JD video package was nice. Like I said, it was cool. Actually, give him a moment to shine. I think he's actually a really solid wrestler. So,
oh, dude, yeah. JD is so good in the ring. He just looks so awkward. He needs some shoulders. He needs some what do you call these, traps?
Yes.
He needs some traps. He needs some Brock Lesnar-sized traps. He's a giant head on a small body. So he needs to switch up his workout routine. Maybe get on the gas. I don't know. I don't care what he does.
I hope one day he gets a shot at the Intercontinental title as well. Give that man a mid-card title. Not the speed title. Nobody cares about that thing.
I don't think that thing exists anymore, does it?
You're asking the wrong person.
Give it to iShow Speed and send him out, off into the sunset.
Sure.
Big Kev said, gotta find the pickle PBR. I don't know about that, Kev. I do like pickle. I like pickle-flavored stuff. I love pickle-flavored chips. I don't know about pickle-flavored beer.
Pickle-flavored what?
Beer, PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, I've had PBR before.
Pickle-flavored?
No, not pickle-flavored.
I don't think I would try it, but I don't know if I would enjoy it.
I mean, have you seen all the Godzilla marketing on PBR?
No.
Oh, there is a 19-pack you can buy of PBR right now. The packaging is Godzilla themed. I don't know if
why is it 19? Is that not a weird number?
Did I say 19? I meant 99.
A 99 pack
Yeah.
of PBR.
Yeah. Let me pull it up for you, my man. You know, they're doing this. They have this like tie-in with Godzilla happening right now, which is
A
interesting.
99 pack. My God.
Please,
Yeah. Well, Big Kev, I don't drink a lot. As a matter of fact, I only drink when I'm by myself or, with people.
So that's all the time then.
You said it. You said it, not me.
I drink all the time, I drink with people or by myself. So that's pretty much all the time.
I didn't say that.
Check the link I sent you.
All right. We're going to check out this 99 pack PBR business. It literally says PBR is selling a 99 can case filled with 3 different types of beer. Here's where you can buy it.
Oh wait,
Jesus,
there's 3 different types?
that is a big long case. How would that not break in half when you tried to pick it up?
I saw them at my local Binny's.
Wow.
Shall I ship one out to you?
The shipping for that would be atrocious.
I don't even know. Can I ship alcohol? Like if I just go to the post office and be like, hey, send this over to so-and-so's house.
Yeah, I don't know. It says if you live in Texas, Massachusetts, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Florida, New York, South Carolina, Montana, Vermont, California, Wisconsin, Iowa, Arkansas, or Colorado. I didn't see Illinois in that.
Yeah, I swear I saw it. I've got a picture of it on my phone.
I believe you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you, but this is insane. It's a big, giant, long, super long box. But I don't see anything about Godzilla on here.
Oh, well, here's another one.
How does this tie into Godzilla?
They have a bunch of cans. Here, let me send you another one. I hope this works. It's a Instagram link. I don't use Instagram, but I found it on Google.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're following along on Facebook, you can obviously see my screen where Attack Peter.
Yeah. Don't ask me who Peter is.
Attack Peter. Limited edition Godzilla 99 pack. That's a pretty cool picture of Godzilla on there, though. I like that. Crash the Party. Wow, okay. You know what? I think you should buy this, Slick Vic. I don't need you to send it to me, but I think that you definitely need this box in your house by the bar.
I'm trying to give up the Swish, man. I'm trying to
Oh, I'm not saying, you're trying to give it up permanent.
No, but
well, there you go.
If I leave it there, I might be tempted to just tap into it from time to time.
Well, there you go. Well, time to time isn't all the time, right?
That's true.
Hey, you only live once. Drink a beer. We got way sidetracked. Where were we at?
Well, we finished the Vision promo and JD's video package, and I believe we are now at the match.
All right, so Finn Balor and JD McDonough. All right, yeah, we're here. They've been building this up all night. So Balor jumps JD before he even makes it into the ring. They fight out through the crowd, and it seems like they're going to actually fight up into the concourse, but they work their way back to the ring so the match can actually start. I thought it was a fairly solid match. If you take the commercials out of it, again, this is a common problem. Balor wins via pinfall after a coup de grace, but post-match, Dom runs in and tries to beat down Balor, but fails. He ends up getting his ass kicked and almost eating a coup de grace himself before McDonough pulls him out of the harm's way. So, all of that which I will say that McDonough was taped up, his ribs were hurt, so they sold that. Taking a coup de grace to some injured ribs is going to do it for you, but still, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this, Slick Vic. Balor beats McDonough, which was expected. But then when Dom tries to get the jump on him, Balor kicks his ass too.
Well, much like Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vicaire, I predict rematches for Backlash.
Okay.
Maybe even some other stips. I don't think we'll get the Demon again, but maybe.
I think that they should keep the Demon fairly exclusive to the really big events or the really big when it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah,
so I think you're
for
right.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll just be a straight one-on-one match, but because the last one was a street fight.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I guess we will. Maybe. Hopefully. Anyway, from that we get a backstage segment with Gunther. And he's being interviewed about his win at WrestleMania. And he gets asked about the favor that Paul Heyman owes him. Gunther says he can't really say, he can't really go into detail about it, but that he will be a world heavyweight champion again soon. This made me think that maybe they were going to do the Brock Lesnar retirement match, but maybe Brock decides, hey, I want to retire at Mania, so now they're pivoting this favor to something to do with the world title. We'll have to see how it pans out, but that was my initial thought when this happened. LA Knight interrupts and reminds Gunther that he isn't the only one with the world title in his sights. Yeah. We get a little preview about next week's Raw, where we're going to have Becky Lynch returning, once again, Women's Intercontinental Champion, and a Joe Hendry concert. And I noticed, his name. Well, I don't know if you noticed this, Slick Vic, but Michael Cole drops that Hendry is permanently part of the roster right now. Did you catch that? Was that announced at all?
No.
I didn't think so. So when he said it, like, they got quiet for a few moments, like, we weren't supposed to say that.
I loved Corey's reaction. It's like, wait a minute, this must be a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then after that, we get a stupid crying segment with Io and Rhea. She better straighten up or I'm going to start calling her Diarrhea. And then we have the end of the night with Roman Reigns, and we see him in Gorilla. We see the Usos standing there waiting for him, and he decides, hey, come on, pals, come out to the ring with me. And they get all giddy and excited, and it's really kind of cringe, but they get to follow their big cousin to the ring. And you know what? I don't have specifics on what he talked about, but basically he said that they're better together than they are apart. And we start to feel like maybe they're bringing the bloodline back. Then we have Jacob Fatu come out, cuts a fiery promo on Roman, says he wants that title, he wants that Rolex, he wants his money, he wants his shoe deal, he wants everything that Roman has. And Roman basically says, well, you might beat me, but then you might not. And if you do beat me, you're going to have to carry the burden of this title. But if you don't beat me, you're going to have to carry the burden of acknowledging me. And then he walks away, and that's the end of Monday Night Raw, the Raw after Mania. Slick Vic, what are your thoughts?
When this segment happened, it occurred to me. I'm like, wait a minute. Backlash is in like 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks from, or 2 weeks from this coming Saturday. So I'm like, they have very little time to build. So there we go. That's why we're going to get Stephanie versus Liv. We're going to get Dom versus Finn. And then we're going to get Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. Like, they're just going to have to rush it, which is usually not a good thing.
Yeah. And it goes to show you that, in my opinion, anyway, if I'm not doing picks anymore, but Roman ain't losing that.
Leave that to the professionals, man.
Yeah. Leave that to the professionals. Actually, you know what? I want to shout out Big Kev because out of all three of us, Big Kev was the one who had the most right picks when it came to WrestleMania 42. He got one more right than Slick Vic. And we should have brought him on the show. We should have been like, next time we'll have Big Kev's picks. How about that? We'll bring Kev on the show for his picks, and we'll see what the future holds for that. But yeah, I don't think Roman's losing that belt anytime soon. So I don't think any type of build is going to matter. I think that Jacob is where he needs to be, and sure, give him a title match. He's going to get screwed out of it more than likely. But I don't think in any case he's beaten Roman. I don't think anybody's beaten Roman for a little while. I don't think we're going to see another 4-year excursion here, but I think that Roman is keeping that belt for a little while.
I did predict that after Jacob beats Drew, he's going to be next in line for a world championship match. And at the time, I thought it was going to be Randy Orton, but obviously Randy didn't win, and Jacob needs somebody else to wrestle.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned that, because you said that you thought he was going to feud with the winner of the match, but you're not so sure. I remember you saying that on the last episode because of how that turned out. But yeah.
Lastly,
so I don't know.
There was a segment. Did you touch upon the Gunther segment with LA the favor thing? Yeah, LA Knight. Yeah. Do you think the whole favor thing is still going to be a factor?
Well, I mentioned that I don't think that it's going to have anything to do with Lesnar anymore, but I think that it's going to have something to do with, because he mentions I will be world champion soon. Like I say, I think that it was probably put in place to have him face Lesnar, and the everything was pointing towards that. SummerSlam's in Minneapolis. Have Lesnar retire at Minneapolis. Gunther's going to beat him. The writing was on the wall, but we saw what we saw at WrestleMania, so maybe they're pivoting from that, and instead we're going to get Gunther included in a world title match somehow. So,
okay, yeah, because I was thinking the same thing you were, actually. The whole, well, is Brock retired? Because I don't know if they're going to do that anymore.
Yeah,
maybe it'll be a future title match if one of the members of the Division win it.
I got to be honest here. I don't want to see Gunther beat Lesnar. I think that what we saw at WrestleMania was unexpected. Maybe it would have been better for him to retire in Minneapolis, where he's from, and at SummerSlam, which Brock Lesnar sort of becomes synonymous with SummerSlam in a way, at least in my mind. Maybe that would have been the perfect way to go out, but how do you top that moment at WrestleMania? I thought that was perfect. I mean, what a moment. How do you go back on that now? So, yeah. But that's Monday Night Raw, Slick Vic, and we are pretty much done with this episode of Wrestling with Power. We're going to hit the old Undertaker bell, and if you are, well, there it is. I don't know how many times it ran because I just clicked it like twice, but that's it for us here at Wrestling with Power. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Hopefully you enjoyed WrestleMania as much as we did. I know Vic did. He's over there looking like a mummy right now. He's just about to crash out, but
what are you talking about, dude?
Maybe too many maybe he needs to start libating on the 5-hour energy shots. That's what I'm saying, brother. But no, it was fun. I enjoyed WrestleMania. Like I said, not one was what it was, not two completely made up for it. I kind of wish that we'd go back to the days of just having one day of WrestleMania, because it's getting to be a lot. But it was fun. I've enjoyed everything that we've been doing here on the show from the time that we started our WrestleMania celebration. Over a month ago, we started predicting card matches, and we did the retro review, our first retro review on WrestleMania. We did WrestleMania 9. That was fun. We've got 2 matches out of this. Memories of Mania with Kristen, and hopefully we get to continue that trend and do some more Memories of Mania. In sooner than later would be great. But for now, that's it, pal. And All I want to say is I hope everyone has had a great WrestleMania season, and I hope that you all stay powerful.
And I want to wish WrestleMania all its best in its future endeavors. And everybody else, the same thing.
Beware, my friend. Shit winds are a-coming.